All right, let's talk about one of the biggest, and I mean biggest, mistakes that new UX designers make. It's a mistake that sounds so innocent, so inclusive, but it could absolutely torpedo your project before you even write a single line of code or draw a single wireframe. We're talking about the everyone mistake. You've probably heard this. Maybe you've even said it yourself. Oh, my app? It's for everyone. And look, it comes from a good place, right? You want your creation to be used and loved by as many people as possible. But here's the tough love. In UX design, that phrase is a giant, flashing, neon red flag. And let's be super clear about this. This isn't some tiny little misstep. Thinking your product is for everyone is genuinely one of the most damaging things you can do. It's a foundational error that basically guarantees you'll build something that doesn't really work for anyone. So let's dive in and really unpack why this idea, which seems so good on the surface, is actually a trap. First things first, we've got to ask, what even is a user? A user isn't just some person out there in the world. In the world of UX, a user is a specific profile defined by 4 key things. They have a goal they're trying to hit, a context they're in, a problem they're desperate to solve, and, this is important, limitations that get in their way. And here's where it all becomes so clear. On the one hand, you have specific users. Real people with different goals, different situations, different fears. But on the other hand, you have this mythical creature called everyone. And what are everyone's goals? What's their context? Who knows? Everyone is a ghost. It has none of the details you actually need to design something useful. And that really gets to the heart of the matter. When you say you're designing for everyone, what you're really doing is avoiding making tough decisions. But guess what? Good UX is all about making decisions. It's about deciding who matters most, what problem is most urgent, and what feature will make the biggest impact. Okay, so why does this everyone approach just completely fall apart in practice? To make this really sink in, let's borrow an idea from a different field where this concept would be just laughable. Let's talk about engineering. I mean, can you seriously imagine an engineer saying this? Yeah, this bridge we built, it's optimized for cars, trains, pedestrians, and also migrating elephants. No way. It's absurd. Engineers know deep in their bones that to build something that actually works, you have to define exactly what it's for and what its limits are. And the parallel to UX design is just perfect. An engineer has to define a target use case. A UX designer has to define a target user. You just can't build a great product if you're trying to optimize for every single person and every single situation at the same time. It's impossible. Okay, so we've hammered home the problem pretty hard. Designing for everyone is a no-go. So what do you do instead? Well, the answer is a beautifully simple concept I like to call the power of one. Let's get practical for a second. Let's say you're designing a new food delivery app. Simple question, but it's the most important one. Who are you designing for? Just take a moment and really think about that. Because that who could be a whole bunch of very different people, couldn't it? It could be a college kid needing pizza at 2 a.m. It could be a busy professional who has exactly 10 minutes to order lunch between meetings. Or a family trying to feed picky eaters. Or maybe even someone who's never used an app like this before. The thing is, what they need is totally different. And sometimes their needs are even in direct conflict with each other. So, what does a pro designer do? They don't throw all those needs into a blender and hope for the best. Nope. A great UX designer chooses one. They pick one primary user to be their North Star, at least to start. So let's pick one. Let's say our primary user is a working professional ordering lunch quickly during office hours. And boom, just like that, everything gets easier. Suddenly you know speed is the most important feature. You know you need a reorder last meal button. You know you should highlight restaurants with fast prep times. Every single design decision becomes clearer because you know exactly who you're trying to help. Now, I can hear what some of you are thinking. But wait, if I just focus on one person, aren't I leaving everyone else out? It's a totally normal fear. So let's talk about how we shift our mindset from that fear to a powerful sense of focus. The fear tells you that being specific means you're reducing your audience. But here's the reality, and this might sound a little backward at first. Focus actually increases adoption. When you build an amazing solution for one person's very specific problem, they don't just like your product, they love it. They become your champions. This is the playbook for almost every successful product out there. They didn't start by trying to be everything to everyone. No, they started narrow. They solved one problem really, really well for a specific group. That's how they built a loyal base. And then, and only then, did they start to expand. You just can't skip that first step.
And hey, if the product strategy argument isn't quite enough for you, let's bring it even closer to home. Let's talk about how this mistake can impact your career. Let's talk about the recruiter's red flag.
Picture this. A hiring manager is flipping through your portfolio. If they see a case study that says, this app is for everyone, or it has some super vague user persona, you know what they see? They see no real research. They see no UX maturity. It screams amateur, and honestly, your portfolio could end up in the no pile before they even get to your beautiful designs. So what do the pros do instead? It's really a simple 3-step dance. First, they ask, who's struggling the most right now? Second, they make a decision to prioritize that person's needs above all others, at least for now. And third, they use that incredible clarity to go and build something truly great just for them.
So look, if you walk away with just one single thing today, please let it be this. If you cannot clearly describe your primary user, you simply cannot design a good experience. It's a fundamental rule. A vague audience will always lead to a vague, mediocre design. But a specific user, that's what leads to crystal clear, brilliant UX. So please, always start with one.